On the next Disney Sunday movie, Ed Asner stars as a Santa on the run in a new Disney holiday classic.
Start checking all the chimneys.
You guys be good boys and girls and keep your yap shut about seeing me.
Neighbors in need teach a counterfeit Santa the miracle of Christmas.
It is Santa Claus.
This is the last guy to be Santa.
I'm not who you think I am.
I believe in you, Santa.
Up there is a very special star.
It's a magical new holiday tradition, the Christmas Star with Ed Asner.
When my friend and I get dressed for work, fashion isn't what counts. But for our boys, clothes are a different story. They wouldn't be seen in anything but the latest look. So I always look at Mervyn's weekly sales. Right now, Mervyn's has boys' shaker sweaters for $11.99, just $14.99 in young men's sizes. Bugle boy pants for young men are just $19.99. Boys sizes 8 to 14, $17.99. Gifts that are fun to get from Mervyn's, where giving is in fashion.
Where do we put all this?
Well, I know where to put those sweaty shirts.
Like the garbage?
No, the wash.
Yeah, it stinks.
Wash it in Surf. Unlike detergents that just cover up odors, Surf actually removes both dirt and odors.
Hey, my shirt looks clean.
Smells clean too, Dad.
Good. You may sleep in it if I don't find your pajamas.
Surf removes both the dirt and the odors.
You're watching KDRV, Channel 12, Medford. Serving the towns and cities of Southern Oregon and Northern California, this is Newswatch 12 Weekend Report with Scott Lewis and the entire Newswatch 12 team.
Good evening. A small fire broke out in a closet of the Medford Hotel today. Damage was limited to the contents of the closet, but fire officials say there was potential for much greater damage. Battalion Chief Richard Chapona says the fire began in a sixth-floor storage closet of the hotel. It appears to have been deliberately set, and the chief says the cause is under investigation. The Medford Hotel is scheduled to close down at the end of this year. 100 residents will be forced to find other low-income housing. Plans for the historic building include renovation, but nothing definite has yet been announced. Business at the new Rogue Valley Mall is good, but there are still a few kinks in the alarm system that need working out. The Medford Mall is in its third month of operation, and so far the fire alarm has sounded several times. Each time the stores were closed and there was no fire. Last night there was another false alarm. Just after midnight, Medford firefighters responded after the mall's fire alarm sounded. Again, no fire. A Medford battalion chief says problems with false alarms are common in structures of this size, and he says they'll keep responding as long as the call comes in.
Oh, it's causing us a few problems. We can never assume that it's a false alarm, even though we expect it to be on a facility that's new. But we always have to treat it as though it's the real thing. And it does cause problems. We send a major target hazard response every time this alarm comes in. So we've got 5 pieces of equipment rolling red light and siren, and that's pretty risky.
Quincy says this is not the first fire alarm system they've had problems with. He says it has taken as long as 1 year to get all the bugs out of a system the size of the malls. Today marked the 45th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. And today flags were flying in our area and throughout the nation in commemoration of the day Franklin Delano Roosevelt said would live in infamy. 2,400 Americans were killed in the surprise attack. Pearl Harbor was left in ruins with 18 naval ships sunk or damaged. 320 American planes were destroyed on the ground. Ceremonies were held at the original site in Hawaii and at locations across the nation today. The Japanese naval officer in charge of the attack was later quoted as saying all he feared he had done was, quote, awaken a sleeping giant. A home weatherization subsidy program may be threatened in our area, the result of budget cuts. Bonneville Power Administration officials are considering eliminating the agency's subsidy of the energy-saving program to save money. BPA spokesman Ed Mosey says Administrator James Jura has ordered an examination of alternative ways to pay for the conservation program. BPA spends about $100 million a year to save energy by reducing heat losses in homes throughout Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and parts of Montana. No decision has been made to eliminate the subsidy beyond finding other ways to finance it. After nearly 2 weeks of exhibit, the Magna Carta is leaving the West Coast. The 700-year-old document was brought to Jacksonville as a gift to help celebrate the Southern Oregon Historical Society's 40th birthday. The Great Charter, as the Magna Carta is called, contains a Bill of Rights that helped establish principles of English government. This document is one of 4 known surviving copies of the Magna Carta, and its visit was brief, but officials say a lot of people came out to see it.
We've had just over 13,000 people as of last night, and we've been open 2 hours today and have had over 500 people who have come in. So we expect that by the time the exhibit's done, we'll have at least 14,000 and certainly maybe more.
The Magna Carta will be going to Portland for a flight out on a multi-city tour in the east. After the United States Whirlwind Tour, the charters will head back home.
Nashville, and then finally ends up in St. Louis at the Missouri Historical Society in, I think, late December of 1987. And then the exhibit finally ends in 1988 in January, and Magna Carta goes back to Lincoln Cathedral in England, and the exhibit is all over. So what a way to celebrate the bicentennial of the U.S. Constitution.
What a way indeed. Officials say the charter is the biggest exhibit to come into Southern Oregon. There are no return trips on schedule, at least not yet. There is more to come on this short edition of Newswatch 12. Weather is next, and it looks like there may be some sun in our forecast. Then we'll have highlights of the Blazers clincher game with the Knicks in Portland tonight.
Are you or is someone you know suffering from hearing loss? This new non-electronic device was developed by a Stanford physician to improve your ability to hear group discussions or high-frequency sounds. And best of all, it is convenient to wear and available at affordable prices. Stacy Berg at Southern Oregon Audiology is the only audiologist authorized to provide this service between San Francisco and Portland. So don't delay. Hear the sounds of life. Call today.
The road will be yours in style this winter in your beautiful German car from J. Allen. Now with 86 clearance prices, you can tackle winter's worst in one of J. Allen's VWs, Audis, BMWs, or Porsches. Winter's coming, and J. Allen is all geared up for big savings. J. Allen, Biddle Road, Medford.
It's cold outside, and in Medford it is foggy, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for the next few days, at least cold. But the cold weather and the fog also means clear skies above the fog in this case, and we'll have more of this type of weather for a while. Now at the Medford Airport today, we reached a high of about 42 degrees. This morning's low was 31. Normals 32 and 46, so we were certainly within the realm of normals for the state. Record 18 set back in 1959, and the record high 61 degrees. Doesn't seem like much of a high for this date. Sunrise 7:27 and the sunset 4:39 tomorrow night. Looks like a scene somewhere there in the southern Rogue Valley, maybe near Ashland. Precipitation amounts in the last 24 hours, nothing. For the month, we are at 0.14 of an inch of rain. For the month, we are at half an inch below normal for the state. Since the water year began September 1st, we are at 6.39 inches of rain, and that still gives us a little bit more than normal, but we'll probably be making that up or going the other way. As of 11 o'clock at the airport, the temperature was 33 degrees in Medford. The dew point at 33 also. That gives us a relative humidity, no surprise, 100%. Winds gentle out of the east at 4 miles an hour, just enough to stir up the atmosphere to keep the fog there. Visibility 1/8 of a mile, and there is fog out there if you can see it or if you can't see anything else. The barometer 30.33 and steady. A look at the satellite picture will show pretty much clear skies up and down the west coast from border to border. There's some high pressure that's keeping the clouds away, but there are some persistent clouds offshore that will be moving on. Now, the clear skies in Oregon gave way to some low clouds and fog once again, as we are already aware of. Skies along the south coast were relatively free of clouds today, and it was a pretty nice day in Brookings, I understand, today. 10 p.m. temperatures were in the 35 to 45 degree range west of the Cascades, also in the upper teens to lower 30s east side. Astoria is reporting light drizzle at this time. Now there is a ridge of high pressure that's still building over Oregon. There is also a weak low pressure system extending up the Oregon coastline. The system is expected to produce weather similar to today's, low clouds and fog in the morning, then afternoon clearing in the northwestern areas of the state. The south coast, however, might be the place to be if you'd like to work on your tan in the middle of December or so. Let's check out the forecast first for the Klamath Basin tonight. Fair skies, patchy fog, and morning clouds. Lows cold, good cuddling weather, as they say, 15 to 20 degrees. Tomorrow, expect fair skies with, again, some areas of fog and low clouds. Highs 35 to 40. In the Cascades, expect the freezing level to be around 8,500 feet. Tonight, fair skies, winds out of the east 10 to 20, fairly normal. Tomorrow, fair skies again, winds shifting east to northeast 10 to 20. In the Northern California area, you might want to expect some valley fog, but otherwise fair skies, 15 to 20 for the low. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, highs near 40. On the coast, fair winds out of the north, 10 to 20. Tomorrow, sunny skies, looking good, around 60 for the high temperature with gentle winds out of the north. Roseburg area, fog and low clouds. Again, fog and low clouds tomorrow. In the Rogue Valley, about the same. Valley fog, otherwise fair. Tomorrow, sunny after the fog burns off, or if it doesn't burn off, it'll be sunny above the fog, 40 to 45 for a high. And the extended forecast is for some valley fog or clouds. Otherwise fair, highs 35 to 45 with the lows in the 30s. It was a squeaker tonight at the Memorial Coliseum in Portland as the Trailblazers took on the New York Knicks. A good game indeed. The game was within a few points for most of the evening, ending up in overtime. But Portland came through in the clutch, getting its 4th straight NBA victory. Clyde Drexler and Kiki Vandeweghe hit the crucial shots for Portland in the final minutes of regulation and overtime. The Knicks appeared headed for the second victory in 3 games under new coach Bob Hill, but with New York leading 93-92 with 16 seconds left in the game, the Knicks' Gerald Wilkins missed 2 free throws. Now that gave Clyde Drexler, who sank an 18-footer, was also fouled with 8 seconds to play. He made the free throws to give Portland a 95-93 lead. The Knicks came back at the buzzer, literally, with 1 second left. It goes in, and just enough to make it go to overtime. 4 free throws for Vandeweghe. Portland pulls away for the victory. Drexler led all scorers with 26 points, and Vandeweghe tallied 23. Bill Cartwright led the Knicks with 25 points. Portland's final score then 107 to 104 in overtime. The Lakers 132-100 win over the Lakers, and that's the extent of the NBA scoreboard. Sunday is professional football day. Let's take a look at the football scoreboard now. Miami beats New Orleans 31-27. The Saints will miss the playoffs. The Dolphins will also probably not be in postseason play. Indianapolis won't be in the playoffs, but the Colts get their first win of the year. Good for them. Denver is now at 10-4. Kansas City has a shot at the playoffs. Cleveland is 10-5. Or 10-4. Minnesota is 8-6, looking to make the playoffs. Cincinnati is also looking for a berth. The Bengals knocked off New England. Pittsburgh and Detroit are going nowhere and fast. The Steelers win. The Cards and Eagles tie 10-10 in overtime. Chicago is now 12-2. The Giants are in first all by themselves in the NFC East. San Diego shuts out Houston. San Francisco improves to 8-5-1. The Niners are making a bid for the playoffs. And as seen right here tonight on KDRV, the Rams continue their winning record by defeating the Cowboys 29-10. Tomorrow night, the 8-5 LA Raiders will be at Seattle's Kingdome, taking on the 7-6 Seahawks. The Raiders need a win in the worst kind of way in order to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. You can see that game right here on KDRV, starting at 6 o'clock, right after Newswatch 12, very important, at 5 o'clock. In golf, Amanda Neely, the 18-year-old high school senior from Grants Pass, just missed winning the final match of the Women's Amateur Golf Championship today. Golf instructor Cindy Scholafield of Malibu hit 2 birdies to win the match. Now, Amanda had a birdie of her own, and she came from within 3 points behind to within 1, couldn't quite catch up. Neely, who is the Oregon Women's Junior Champion, had a good showing at the Pebble Beach Links. Amanda Neely, second-place finisher at the California Women's Amateur Golf Championship. Congratulations to her. That's a look at sports. When we come back, I'll have a couple of seasonal stories, including one that shows you what's happening to some of the Santa mail.
Star Body Works presents Before and After. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. If quality is what you're after, see Star.
Where will you find the finest toy store in the Northwest? Scheffel's Toys in Jacksonville. Scheffel's features unique, quality toys like wooden toys from Brio and TC Timber, dolls from Germany and Italy, plush toys from Steiff, Gund, and Avanti, and teddy bears galore in all sizes and shapes. trains and steam engines, metal soldiers and die-cast cars. You won't find a better selection than at Oregon's Toy Center, Scheffel's Toys, and Fine Antiques on the corner of California and Oregon Streets in Jacksonville.
Did you ever wonder what happens to all of that mail that goes to Santa Claus? Well, here's an answer what happens to some of it in Denver.
All righty. Dear Santa, I would like a mother pound puppy for Christmas. My baby pound puppy is lonely and needs a mom. Love, Heather.
If anyone has Santa's ear, it is Lucille Darland, or Mrs. Claus, as her fellow postal workers like to call her. For the past 15 years, she has read thousands of letters addressed to Santa at the North Pole, taking careful note of the Christmas wishes of children throughout the Denver area.
Dear Santa, I want a telescope because I want to look at the planets. Love, Jason.
Lucille has become something of a handwriting expert. Deciphering Christmas wish lists, she answers each child's letter with a message from Santa.
I just tell them that I hope they've been a good little boy or girl, and that the reindeer are in good shape and have been fed well all the summer and are ready to make the trip, and we hope to see them soon. Dear Santa, I have been a good girl this year. I would like the following.
In all her years of Christmas correspondence, Lucille has seen toy requests change. She says being Santa's helper lets her keep up with the latest trends. But happily, some things never change.
The children are all concerned on how Mrs. Santa Claus is, and half of them want you to bring her along and say, Dear Santa, please bring Mrs. Santa when you come. And they ask about the elves. You know, they carry on really a real fantasy with Santa Claus, and I think that's just wonderful.
But it's more than a fantasy. Lucille knows there really is a Santa Claus, and so do the children.
Yes, they do, yes. Don't you?
I believe in Santa.
I do, too.
Fort, good night.
From AD